It really feels like we're navigating a rapidly shifting world these days, doesn't it?
It certainly does.
Staying on top of everything happening globally
Hmm.
can feel like, well, a constant uphill battle.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That's exactly why we created the deep dive. We take your selected sources, try to cut through the noise and bring you the crucial insights you need.
Consider this your direct line to understanding what's truly significant right now. We aim to provide the context and the connections that often get lost in the daily news cycle.
Absolutely. And for this deep dive, we've got a fascinating look at the world as it stood on, what was it, May 6th, 2025, based on a really compelling set of materials you shared.
That's right.
And right off the bat, two major sort of interconnected themes jumped out at me. First, the Middle East is clearly, well, at a boiling point.
Definitely.
And second, there's this palpable sense of growing uncertainty surrounding the U.S. economy.
And these aren't separate issues operating in a vacuum, are they? The instability in the Middle East can trigger, significant consequences for global markets, economic stability.
Right.
And of course, domestic economic policies in the U.S. have international repercussions too.
Totally.
So our goal today is to unpack these complex situations, explore the threads that link them, and hopefully equip you with a clearer understanding of potential future developments, all while keeping it, accessible.
Great. Okay, let's dive straight into this Middle East situation then, because it feels like the temperature is rising very, very quickly.
It does.
The headline-grabbing news seems to be Israel's security cabinet approving a plan that could fundamentally reshape Gaza. I mean, this sounds like a massive shift. What are the immediate implications you see?
Well, what's striking about this plan, based on the sources, is its potential scope and duration. Reports indicate the Israeli security cabinet gave the green light to a move. Well, it could involve seizing and controlling the entire Gaza Strip.
Indefinitely.
Indefinitely. Wow. Yeah, so this isn't just another limited operation. It really signals a significant change in their strategic thinking. Previous approaches were more about, localized incursions, not long-term control.
Right. And the sources suggest the core objectives are basically dismantle Hamas once and for all, and really increase pressure for the hostage release.
That seems to be the stated aim, yes.
And to do this, we're reportedly seeing a substantial mobilization, tens of thousands of reservists being called up.
Mm-hmm.
That scale certainly implies they're preparing for something sustained, right?
Indeed. I mean, if you connect that large-scale mobilization to the stated goals, defeating Hamas, securing hostages, it looks like the Israeli government believes that only by establishing comprehensive territorial control can they achieve those things.
Which is, like you said, a big departure from previous strategies.
Definitely. A departure from focusing on more targeted operations.
And it's not just military. The plan also reportedly includes provisions for moving a huge number of Palestinian civilians, hundreds of thousands, according to some sources, to southern Gaza.
Yes, that's a major component mention.
Israel says it's for their protection. But what's the international view on that?
Well, that raises a really critical point. While Israel frames it as being for civilian safety, there's, widespread concern internationally that this could amount to forced displacement.
Yeah, I can see that.
And the timing is interesting, too. Some reports suggest implementation might wait until after a potential U.S. presidential visit, which leaves a window, maybe a small one, for those ceasefire talks.
Always the ceasefire talks hanging in the balance.
Always.
And this brings us to the internal politics in Israel. It's hard to ignore the influence of the far-right partners in the coalition, people like Ben Jever,
Right.
who've consistently pushed for a much tougher stance in Gaza.
Right.
Could this plan be a direct result of that pressure?
It's highly likely, I think. The formal approval probably reflects those internal political realities. The government needs to keep its coalition partners happy. And this move definitely aligns with what the more hawkish elements have been demanding. It's also important to see the explicit link being made between this potential military expansion and the ceasefire talks.
So the logic is threaten a bigger operation to force Hamas's hand in negotiations.
That appears to be the calculation, yes, that the threat of a complete takeover will compel concessions.
But there's a really worrying counterpoint to that, isn't there? The hostage families. They must be terrified this escalation could actually put their loved ones in more danger.
That's a crucial and incredibly difficult consideration. For those families, the absolute priority is getting their relatives back safely.
Of course.
And an intensified military operation, well, it inherently carries risks for anyone caught in the middle, including hostages.
And we're already seeing international reactions. You mentioned concern.
Yes, initial reactions have been swift. Expressions of concern from the EU, UN Secretary General Guterres, the Irish Foreign Minister. It highlights the diplomatic risks involved, too.
Okay, so while all this military planning is happening, the humanitarian situation in Gaza, it sounds beyond dire. Catastrophic is the word being used.
It is, and largely because Israel has continued restricting aid deliveries since March.
What does that actually look like on the ground? What are the reports saying?
It's deeply concerning. We're talking widespread hunger, severe malnutrition, especially affecting children, and tragically reports of people actually dying from starvation.
Oh, that's horrific.
This prolonged restriction of aid has just had a devastating impact.
And the new Israeli plan doesn't sound like it offers much hope there either. It reportedly includes even tighter control over aid, maybe using private